expected.
All right, gentlemen, we have an international audience watching this. They are wondering what it is that the people in the southeast are upset about. So upset that some of them are saying we want to be separate from Nigeria. Uche, give us a few examples. Let's be concrete in our discussion here.
Right. Thank you very much. The issue here is that there is serious distortion of history. There is culture of deception from the so-called elders like Olusegun Obasanjo, and a number of them that actually participated in the war. They are actually war genocidists. They unleashed mayhem on our people. They perpetrated the genocide against our people. And he was making reference to history being written from one's perspective. But he was around. They removed the Bite of Biafra from history book. They renamed it Bite of Bonny and all that. Today, Olusegun Obasanjo and the likes of General Kubugo One are not supposed to be walking free on the streets. They are war criminals, and they should be brought to book. Obasanjo in his regime unleashed mayhem on Biafran youths. And he's not telling the truth. He should be telling us the truth.
I hear this. Uche, let's just bring this up to date, because I asked you about contemporary issues, and you're going back to a time 50 years ago. And I wanted to really get a sense of what the issues are right now that people in the southeast, some people are saying we need to be separate. Let me just introduce you to a gentleman called Nnamdi Kanu. And Nnamdi is a separatist. He is leading one of the big movements to say, we at least want a referendum. We want to be out of Nigeria. I want you to hear the way he describes what will happen if people don't listen to him. He was talking to you, Rudolph, in an interview, and he was using some very threatening language, very provocative language, and he was saying stuff about how serious it could be if the separatists aren't listened to. Have a listen.
The only language that people in the zoo understand is the language of violence and force. After all, that very contraption was put together by Freddy Lugard by force. That's one thing people don't understand, that Lugard killed people to bring Nigeria together. And the killing of people to disintegrate the zoo shouldn't come to anybody as a surprise. Our promise is very simple. If they fail to give us Biafra, Somalia will look like a paradise compared to what will happen to that zoo.
Rudolph, that was 2014. Do you think that Kanu will follow through with this? Is this the way that the people in the southeast of Nigeria can get their point over?
Well, I don't think so. I think to a large extent, Kanu was reacting to what has become a failed state, which Nigeria is. It's a failed state that works for people like Olusegun Obasanjo that we had earlier on, and people like Governor Peter Obi. It has failed, but it works for them, and they try to defend it. What Kanu is today, the way I see him, is more like Malcolm X of the civil rights movement in the 60s, before he went to Mecca. I'm hoping that Kanu will go to Mecca and come back with a more wider viewpoint, so that he could see. He seemed to be mixing the truth, because there is truth in some of the things he's saying, with propaganda and with hate speech. And it's like mixing sulfur with charcoal and nitrate, potassium nitrate, which is dangerous. But I think
yeah, gentlemen, I hear all of you. Uche, yes.
What Kanu is doing is simply defending the interests of the people who are on the edge, people who have been singled out for total destruction and extermination. The hate speech you're talking about is not hate speech.
Governor,
it was reaction.
Let me just hear the governor. Governor, what's your take? Your name was mentioned just a moment ago by Rudolph. Go ahead.
Yeah, my take in it is that, like I said before, you have a situation where you have leadership failure. The leaders have not cared for the people. They have failed to deliver. And when you have a sense of hopelessness, compounded with the way we find ourselves today, because you have to look at it. There was Biafra of yesterday, and the young ones we were talking about today, who did not experience Biafra, the commonality in this is that they still feel a sense of injustice, of exclusion, coupled with the economic realities of today, which have given them a sense of hopelessness, and this have escalated this agitation. So it's something you have to look at in this. It's not going to be solved by issues of extreme, maybe, oh, we have to leave. That's why people are calling for restructuring. So where we can go, each region can be able to take
Governor and gentlemen, I hear you very clearly. This is where we're going to pick up in part 2 of our conversation. It is not big enough to talk about Biafra 50 years on for one show on the AJ stream. I want to tell you what the government said about marginalisation.